2.
Okay, we're back, and I'm your host, BKP, and we're in downtown Blue Ridge at Sycamore Crossing. And we have invited, we just throwed an open invitation for any Blue Ridge City Council candidate or mayor. We just opened it up, said come on down, everybody is invited. My next guest here is a candidate for mayor, and we're here with Brendan Doyle. Got
Correct,
it right?
Yes.
How are you doing, sir?
Doing very well this morning. Thank you very much, Brian.
Let's go right into your reason for wanting to be mayor of Blue Ridge. Very simple.
Well, over the last number of years, as I have built up an entrepreneurship business here with a restaurant and bar, I've grown to love the community since the early 90s, and I've had an active interest in property here for over 20 years. And just in the developments and growths and the concerns of the community and the citizens at large, who asked me to give it due consideration. That is why I brought my name forward for candidate for mayor here in the city.
Okay, so what are concerns, community at large? I mean, what are some of your target issues if you were elected mayor that you would focus on or would like to see the council focus on?
Well, there's a very big divide and harmony amongst the citizens of the city. The economic prosperity of the city has grown at a phenomenal rate over the last 8 to 10 years in our lives. There is a lot of dissatisfaction and mishap on the professional level pertaining to trying to find a vision step to move forward in a very healthy way. And sometimes we take a step forward and we take 4 steps backwards. But when that continually happens, you have to look at just the aspect of professionalism within the leadership of the community and to try and build those bridges of professionalism that we serve both the resident and the economic future. There's a lot of interest and growth here within the city pertaining to the resident side. And when you see the harmony of both commercial and residential beginning to blossom, it is a beautiful par, but we have to look to the future in the next decade in our lives and back into it.
So if elected, what are some of the particular things that you have been a witness to? Let's just go with the last 4 years, the last administration the last 4 years, and pick out some of the bullet points, drill down on some of the issues that you would most like to focus on if mayor.
Well, we have issues. I mean, we have a lot of big network engagements. We have both the Business Association, the Chamber of Commerce, the City Council. We have the railway company. We have independent entrepreneurs. We have business people that are leasing properties from landlords. And that's a big hub that moves any given hour of the day with those 5 spokes running at any given hour of the day. And when you look at just adding and growth as regards to park developments, park enrichment for the social atmosphere, like the Blues Crawl was a fantastic success story here within the city. And we take our reality stages, we look at it and we see how we can best implement it and serve, as the train has grown so wonderfully with the support of the city pertaining to parking, adding more train runs on a given weekend throughout the year with 8 extra thousand passengers from last year, for example. We have a horrific stress problem on the parking level side, and we have to build harmony bridges. We can't just keep adding and adding things without relief happening in some positive and proactive way. For example, the aspect of property taxes has raised tremendously over the last 36 months of our lives, and that shows, you know, the different tiers of growth that we're trying to manage and implement, but it can get quite exhausting when that is passed down to even the business tenants here in the city. Everybody has to adjust their financial operating balancing plan on a given basis, and there's a tremendous sacrifice given by the entrepreneurs of the city that are business people too. So when we look at the collaborativeness of these things, I think, you know, communication is life and death in all our lives. We have to be very proactive in why we're trying to do something, why we're trying to implement something into the future, and how can we grow with these 5 different branches that are a mainstream here within the community of Blue Ridge.
You brought up, and usually when I'm speaking with a candidate,
Yes.
I follow up what you say, and my follow-up question that
Yes.
I've heard a couple times you mention is professionalism.
Yes, I have.
Level of professionalism and unity in the level of professionalism. So what would you find, I guess, unprofessional, or what kind of professionalism would you bring to the council? Because the Blue Ridge City is set up with what's called a weak mayor that implements council policy.
Yes,
So how would you run your meetings? What level of professionalism are you actually identifying?
Well, in light of the different branches that the city oversees, from its administrative standpoint, from the water system to the expansion and enrichment programs to the development of streets to looking at aspects of collapsed culverts that have been aged out within the city that run through residences, properties and different things of that nature. You know, we should have a proactive plan always in place. We're dealing with a lot of growing pains. We're dealing with a lot of inherited, aged out equipment, for example, and these things have to be factored through. From the aspect of being a mayor, it is bringing collegiality and confraternity and balance, that the professional engagement of the individuals can be valued, and we can look at a very proactive plan to try and move forward and be leaders in what the citizens of Blue Ridge are asking us to do. And when there is a cry both from the residential side of the community and the business side, it is you can be caught between a rock and a heartbeat, for example. And the aspect of involving oneself within the community is a very important thing. Engaging and knowing what the pulse on the street is. It is like this wonderful opportunity here this morning, right in the heart of the city. You bring reality in life, and you just bring the proactive daily engagements of enrichments that are happening to support the community with those that we have our economic commerce on the residential and the tourist standpoint. So it is balancing levels that we can continue to serve, and we can look into a very proactive part of planning to where we want to be as a people. If the leadership and the baton has been handed to us today, how can we be more proactive to try and continue to build that wonderful harmonious power that we're all engaged and excited to be a part of.
All right. Well, let me before we wrap up, and I appreciate you being here. But before we wrap up, let me go with one more thing.
Yes.
This is every candidate that sits here, and stay with me on this. Every candidate that sits here, I do hear proactive.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm not questioning anything you say. I hear proactive. I hear future.
Right.
I hear we have to do planning for the future. I hear that with almost every candidate.
Yes.
Now, not being negative to anything you said this morning, but as the mayor, okay, you have an administration, and I'll leave it up to you to bring any name in. That would be up to you. I'm not going to. But as the mayor, you have the previous administration that basically faced those challenges 4 years ago.
Yes.
4 years ago, when the administration that's there now, council and mayor, took office and were sworn in.
Yes.
They faced almost everything I hear today. Every candidate comes here.
Yes.
Everything I hear, they faced it then.
Yes.
Okay. Mayor doesn't have a vote, but the mayor, I guess in my words, should be able to be a good liaison, a good negotiator, somebody that can bring the council together and unify them into going forward.
Yes,
so just saying that, and not that you're just saying it.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
But just saying we need a future plan, we need to, we have culverts that are out, all that. Do you think you could, as mayor, be a good liaison, be a good leader, be somebody that can bring the council together? Because you and I both know there's some council members that will return, some that won't return.
Yes.
You and I both know the council members that are over there now, maybe some reasons why things aren't done are done.
Yes.
You understand where I'm going with that?
I do indeed, yes I do. I think the charter of the city really is the cornerstone and the template of all our lives. There's a great vision concept to that, and it is there to serve us, it's there to protect us, it's there to help us, enable us to grow into the future. And that's such a critical key part within the heart of residency and commercialism. And it is knowledge is power. Educating people is a very important thing. There's been a lot of stresses going on the professional level of commercialism, but when you look at the heart and the entirety of who we are as a community, both those that are living here 24/7 and those that have businesses here. Some are year-round businesses, which we've been very blessed to grow into in the last 5 years of economic enrichment in our lives. Some are still operating on a seasonal schedule, for example. So you have two wheels that are moving for the servitude. And you know, as a business person, when you do commit to service, you commit to operation and public hours of servitude. The dynamics of our present council members, they're all good, professional and very successful people, for example. They've all done very well. They've all lived and weathered through a lot of hard, dark hours here within the heart of the community. And from the concern of what they see and what they're trying to protect, so that the enrichment is neutralized and the equality is served to all. You just can't have one group just to say, here's a typhoon wave, we're going to do what we want to do, and we expect every enrichment to be able to do it. But there has to be calculations, there has to be safety factors. You have to look back to the vision of the charter, and you have to say, is this viable? Is this something that we want to enrich? Is this something that has an enrichment for the blessedness of all, for example? But if there's a selfish string of capitalistic gain, it puts an awful imbalance within the momentum of that dynamo. And when that happens, everything can go helter-skelter. It can be an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But you can't just look at one aspect of selfishness. It is, what's the heartbeat of who we are as a people? And I think being able to try and work into that and educate your citizens and the business people. And as I said, like with the 5 different entities, we all have to come to the table because we all have to take a very active responsibility in this. You can't just keep pointing the finger at one and saying, well, it's your concern, I want nothing to do with it. Or we're looking into something, you know, as if the wheels are just spinning and there's no traction to it, everything goes into an imbalance in some way, shape or form. So it does.
This is my final question.
Yes.
And this is, I think if you watched any of the other interviews, I've asked several
Yes.
candidates this, and this is my question.
Yes.
This is my personal question to everybody that's here. I, for one, do not agree with the total slate of candidates in a year. I've asked, I don't like that we run all 5 city council members and the mayor in one election cycle. Love to see a staggered,
Yes.
maybe a mayor and 2 city council, and then 3 city council. I'd like to see something staggered. Would you support? Because my opinion, this is my
Yes,
opinion,
yeah.
clearly, is it makes it, no matter what candidate it is, it makes the last 6 months of the last year purely just an election, and the city council meetings are, to me, campaign.
Yes,
that's
indeed.
my
Yes,
opinion.
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Would you support staggering?
I would be very open to that, Brian. And it is no more than just the electiveness of mayor. It is, you know, if a lifetime is considered 10 years or 7 years, forgive me, it is running for extended terms of office. It is, the blood has to flow. The blood has to flow, and we're as you say, with all the upset and unfriendliness that's turning within the area, we're hemorrhaging in pain, and we're looking to a better and a brighter future. And how can we build these type of things? It's no more than the charter of the city. Yes, we can addend and amend certain things to serve that. That would be a very good bloodline, because it's giving freshness and it's giving momentum, and it is not that it can just perpetually continue office after office, for example. So whether it is mayor that serves a 2-term or a city council serves a 2-term, it's a good commitment in itself. But sometimes you have to step down in order to allow the prosperity of growth and an enrichment happen.
Well, thank you. Just like we tell every single candidate that comes on the show, FetchYourNews.com wishes you well in your campaign.
Thank you very much, Brian. I appreciate it.
And we thank you for your willingness to serve.
You're more than welcome. Thank you.
We've been with the mayor candidate, Blue Ridge mayoral candidate. I don't know. Am I getting this wrong or right?
It's
Brendan Doyle. I don't know if I get it wrong or right. Brendan Doyle, candidate for mayor. We'll go with that direction. And folks, any candidate that comes and has an initial interview, we always allow them to just clearly give their platform, position, and why they intend or wish to be council member or mayor. But the second interview, if they come back, which you're welcome back, let you know now, The second interview, we might drill down into some pointed questions. That's just the way we are. But I'm your host, BKP. We'll be back with our all-star panel right after this. Again, thank you. Take us out of here.